brake job. So I have grinding. Wow, I need to shave and trim. So I have grinding in my brake, in my front passenger brake. I think that's where it's coming from. I've tried to analyze the noise stopping, and I think it's coming from the front passenger side. But it doesn't grind all the time. So if you have an issue where your brakes grind sometimes and sometimes they don't, then more than likely you have an issue with your caliper. The caliper is what pushes your brake pads into the rotor, causing the friction to stop the car. Anyway, if it sticks, it'll stick closed sometimes and wear your brake pads down faster, and then you'll get a grinding sound when the metal gets to metal. But sometimes it also will stick when it's open, and then your other three brake pads or wheels will do the stopping, and you won't hear a grinding noise. So I'm about to get into this and check it out. I bought all the parts, and we're gonna see if I'm correct or not. All right, stay tuned. You know what? Before I address this, I think what I'm going to do is address this. Yeah. Past due. I don't know. Does it look any better to you guys? Still a cluttered mess. Yeah, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Alright, back to this damn thing. The biggest issue I have right now is my driveway. So you can see how sections are raised up from this monstrosity right here over in the neighbor's yard, of course. Somebody put a little patch there. I think I'm going to do the same thing this summer for this area and a couple other ones, but it's cracked and pushed up all over the place, and really the only level areas for the most part are this patch here and inside the garage, which my wife is going to want to park in. And if it was the driver's side tire, I'd pull into the garage a little bit and do it. But with it being this, well, no, this side does work. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll just pull into the garage a little bit, work on it in there, and she'll just have to park outside for however long it takes. All right, I'm gonna get this car moved. That's better. Okay, so I don't know, this weather, man, it could start raining anytime, so it's probably a good thing that I'm doing this right here. Yeah, all right, let's get this jacked up. I found actually found this on my property off of the side of the road. It's actually like a semi-chalk. So I'll put that behind my tire. Safety first, you know. Alrighty. Let's get this show on the road. Alright, before I get started really into this, I just want to let everybody know that I am not a mechanic. I have no formal training whatsoever on any kind of automotive work, so you know, I would totally consult an expert if you're going to do this, and not listen to an old man like me. My dad taught me how to do brakes when I was a kid, and I've been doing them pretty much on my own my whole life. So that's that. So anyway, all right, grab the rest of these tools, get to work. Alright, so you can see how much my jack goes down before it goes all the way down to about there before it lifts. So it's low on hydraulic fluid, but it still works. If only a little bit at a time. I think. Boy, this sucks. I don't want to have to get out the crank jack. I don't think this is lifting it. I mean, if it is, it's like lifting it a fraction of an inch at a time. I don't even think it's lifting it. Damn it. Oh, that sucks. Way too old for this. It was fine until the weight of the car got on it. Oh my God. I can't believe I have to do this. Alright, I got the jack stand under there. You always want to use that. Don't rely on your jack to hold that car up. Get yourself a nice set of jack stands. Safety first, baby. Keep my little magnetic tray magnetized to the side of the toolbox, but when I grabbed it, the glue on it broke, so I'll have to re-glue that. I know people that have put anti-seize in these threads, and I don't know if that's a good idea or not. This taper right here is actually what holds it to the tire, not the threads itself. Tapers are a very strong hold. That's why machines like milling machines and lathes use tapers to hold their tool bits in place on the back end of their chucks. Alright, so first impression is the front side can't be the side that's grinding, but the back side feels smooth too, so that's a little worrisome. Nah, okay. There's like hardly any meat on that brake shoe, so okay, I think we got the right side. Let's keep going. Okay, if you're fortunate enough, like me, to have these threaded holes in your rotors, that's pretty awesome, because it means I could just take some kind of bolt that'll fit these metric threads, thread it in, and it'll push this right off. It's a real pain in the ass to get these off sometimes. Quick story, I did my wife's daughter's car once, and I banged on her rotor with a sledgehammer for an hour to the point where my neighbor had to come over and say, Daryl, please, enough. What I ended up doing with hers, and it's the only car I've ever had to do this with, is I took a Sawzall and went through about, I mean, this stuff gets really hard because of all the heat that is put on it with the friction. It took me at least 10 blades, and I had to Sawzall down to the center of her rotor to get it off. When I hit the center and it finally came loose, it was the loudest ping I'd ever heard in my life, because it was so much stress on this thing, you know, twisted it and everything, but even though it was straight, you know, inside it just wanted to twist so bad. That's why it was seized on there so good. But anyhow, back to work. This is the I'm not sure what this bracket's called. I'll just call it a bracket, but this bracket is where your pads are held in. This right here, if you could see it, I don't know if I got a good angle there, but this is the actual caliper, and this is the rotor, and the pads fit into the bracket that's held with the caliper. You got your line coming down here with your hydraulic fluid in it, or your brake fluid. It's a type of hydraulic fluid. So when you press your brakes, it pushes the fluid. It's non-compressible, unlike air is compressible. This brake fluid is non-compressible. So when you push on your pedal, it pushes that fluid and pushes this cylinder, and it pushes that brake pad in the back up against this brake pad in the front, and that's what stops your car, in case you're not familiar. Sure a lot of you watching this are. Okay, first thing we're going to do is, let me just lift this up and bring this around over here. We're going to move these caliper bolts. There's one on top and there's one on the bottom. We'll leave the bracket on at first. Actually, the very first thing I need to do is I need to decompress the caliper itself. Since I'm replacing it, I'm not going to bother breaking the what do you call this? The valve for the they recommend you break that open when you compress it, so you aren't pushing the fluid all the way back into the master cylinder, because in rare occasions that can actually, from what I understand, ruin your master cylinder. So you break this, this is a little cap on there, but there's a bolt underneath. You break that loose a little bit, you compress your caliper, and the fluid will squirt out here rather than going back in your line. Okay. Okay. What I like to use to compress the caliper is a big C-clamp. It's always worked really well for me. Put that on there, and you start turning it, and you'll find it gives you resistance, and then you give it a second, and then all of a sudden you can turn it again. That's because you're pushing the cylinder, pushing the fluid back. Wow. I just realized, yeah, I'm pushing the fluid back. I should have released that. Hopefully I'm one of the lucky ones then. And the caliper, I'm sorry, the catalytic converter will be fine. Alrighty. Yeah, she's coming right off. Compressing just fine. Alright, that should do it. By the way, I didn't mention, this is at least a 2-beer job. I steal that from my buddy Steve from Steve's Small Engine Saloon. Awesome YouTube channel. Highly recommended. If you guys got any kind of small engine issue, go check out Steve's Small Engine Saloon. The guy is just awesome. Anyhow, and I feel really bad for all you people that don't live in Northeast Ohio. and don't get to have the pleasure of enjoying a Great Lakes Dortmunder Gold, worth its weight in gold. If you ask me, I have not tasted a better beer on the planet. Okay, let's get this off. Whoa. Metric. Yeah. Now these bolts may be frozen on pretty tight for you guys, but I did a brake job on this recently in the last 2 years, so I knew it was going to be fine. So I am detaching the caliper from the bracket that holds it to the car, and that also holds in the brake pads. Okay, I'm going to grab something to hang this up on my spring here, because you don't want it to hang on this hose. So bear with me, I'll be right back. So I just went through my entire toolbox and I can't find my hook that I use for this. A great thing to use is an old coat hanger, the old wire coat hangers, and I have one somewhere, but in typical Darryl fashion, I can't find a tool I'm looking for. Anyway, I got zip ties. I'll zip tie it up there. I did find these though. My gloves I ordered so I wouldn't get my hands dirty working on the car. But in typical Darryl fashion, I forgot to put the damn things on. Here we go. I got that zip tied up to that, hanging down. Not sure if I really need to change the caliper now. I think it just maybe these pads are worn down to nothing. If the back pad is the same as the front pad, then I'll just change the pads and we'll call it a day. Looks like the wife's home. I'm gonna go say hi to her, and then I'll get back at it. All the way down to the bare metal. The backside, about the same, a little bit more. This is actually really good news. It probably means my caliper is just fine. So what I'm going to do is, these seem seized up pretty good though. I'm betting the cylinder is working just fine. These are seized up pretty good. I think what I'll do is a test. Get these out, get these cleaned up, get them moving back and forth real good. Put the new ones in. Second. Okay. By the way, I got these Akebono. Is that how you pronounce that? Some kind of Japanese, probably. Brake pads. These were recommended by Scotty. Anybody that has worked on cars and knows YouTube videos knows Scotty. He claims that these things won't squeak. Now, if you can get the cheapest brake pads there are. If you grease them up right, they shouldn't squeak. And I'll still grease these up, but you know, I thought I'd give them a shot. They weren't that much more than the cheap ones. Now these bolts that hold this bracket on, I highly recommend putting NACs on these. These, the ones that hold the caliper on as well. Okay. A couple of things. You want to replace these tin things that your brake pads slide in. Your new pads should always come with them. There you go. So when they'll come with new ones. You always want to replace them. Match these up. Make sure they're the right ones. Looks good. All right. Let's see if I have a metric bolt that'll fit. These are all my metric ones, I believe. I don't know. Let's see if this one will fit. Yep. Yep. Perfect. Just need an handling wrench. Got lots of those from my tool and die days. All right. We'll get this thing off. Well, I got a set of metric Allen keys, but none of these are fitting, so let me go find an English set. I could have swore that was a metric bolt. I'll be damned. It's English. Why? You guys that have never done brake jobs before, you don't know how awesome that is. To have this thing just pop off like that. That is just insane. Alright. Let's go get the other one, the new one. Alright, got the new one here. I'm really thinking that my caliper cylinder is just fine. And it's these two things that seized. So I'm going to work on getting that done. Take these tin things out, clean this whole thing with a wire wheel, and then put the new pads in, and we'll get this thing back together. First things first, let's get the new rotor on. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this area off best I can with a piece of steel wool. It's very, very important that you don't have anything sticking out. That thing has to sit super flush on there, or you're gonna have issues. Okay, so here's the new one. That one on without a hitch. Alright, what's next? Let's get to work on this bad boy. So normally what I do is I take these clips out and then I clean the shit out of this thing. But this one, instead of having two clips, one on either side that go across, they have individual clips. So they have 4 clips. So what I'm going to do, rather than get confused, I'm going to take one off, clean where it came from with a wire brush real well, and then match it up with the correct clip, so that I don't screw up and put a wrong clip in the wrong place. Yeah, speaking from experience here. All right, wire brush that one. Let's see, it's gonna go on like this. It's gonna stick in there like that. I'm gonna definitely need 2 hands for this, so turn the camera off. So yeah, this is definitely the problem. I was able to pull this off. So these pins, if you're not familiar, they got these boots that go on that lip right there, and the boots prevent any dirt from getting in there, and they should be greased, and these pins slide inside here. It's a good thing I bought those gloves. And yeah, I'm having a hell of a time. It's taking this and me pulling and twisting to get this out of here. So I'll get those out. You see I got this side done with the clip. The new clips are in, and I still got to do that side yet. So yep, it's coming along. Okay, so I got all the new clips in. Everything's clean. New clips are in. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this wire brush and go inside. These boots are weird. Usually they come off the other side the same way, but these are kind of like inside the bracket, so I'm not going to mess with them. They seem like they're in decent shape, so I'm just going to get that brush inside, clean what I can. I don't have an air compressor. I'm sorry to say, I'm not quite a man yet. But yeah, I don't have an air compressor, so I can't blow it out. Just have to blow it out with the old breath. All right, so got those cleaned out as best I can. Got 3 crucial things with me here. We got some caliper grease, specifically made for this. Anti-seize for my bolts, and Dortmunder Gold for my manhood. All right, so I'm going to take that grease, go ahead and grease inside them holes. I grabbed this piece of Scotch-Brite here. I'm going to use them on the pins. One of the pins has an actual little rubber seal on it, and it's actually split, so I'm a little nervous about that, but you see they're pretty rusted up. I don't know how well you can see that in here, but yeah, so next step is to get these cleaned, get them holes greased up, get these lubed up and get them back in, see if they can get so where they slide in and out real easy. All right, let's do that. I ran down and got some mineral spirits in a little cup to put it in, and I'll use that on the pins. I got odorless mineral spirits, you know, so Bob Ross doesn't get upset with me. All right, let's do that. Yeah, this pin wasn't hard to get out. I can see why. It's pretty clean. This one though, And it's going to take some elbow grease. Now the front portion's pretty good. This is back portions. Well, camera here so I can really get into it. Well, it's about as good as it's going to get. I was half tempted to take the steel wool to it, but I'm too afraid that the scratches would make it worse. So, it is what it is. My best bet would be to replace the pins. I could probably go get these without. I could return the caliper and buy a set of these pins probably, but we're gonna stick this back in. I don't plan on keeping this car very much longer. Good news is this little seal here was not split like I thought it was. It just had little lines embedded in it, probably to allow the grease through, which makes sense when you think about it. All right. I'd be pretty generous with this stuff. Reason not to be. I'm trying to remember which side this came out of. I wonder if it makes a difference. I hope not. It's not easy to push in and out, but that's because of that seal. I wonder why they have that. It's gonna be a little concern now because if I didn't put it in that spot. Now, if I didn't have anything to worry about, then where's the fun in that? All right, now we've got our bracket back on. I gotta tighten it down yet. Next step is to put the pads in. Also went ahead and lubed up all those tin things, whatever the hell these are, where the pads slide on. So we got those lubricated. Let me tighten this down and we'll go ahead and put the pads in. Can't see nothing right here. I can't believe this. It's the wrong goddamn brake pads. These are too short. Son of a bitch. You know what? This is what I hate about ordering stuff online. I mean, I put in everything, my make, model, year, and they still send me the wrong ones. So if I line that up with that side, you can see how far off it is on the other side. And these are all the exact same. So now not only do I have to go and buy some more, but I'll have to figure out how to send these back through Amazon, which I hate. My God, it's always something. Hey, you do your own brake job, you're gonna save $700-800, all right? But I guarantee you're gonna run into some headache. It's always something with a brake job. Either there's a tool you can't find, or you can't get the damn rotor off, or some bolt somewhere is stuck somewhere, or you order online brake pads and they give you the wrong ones. Always something. All right, I'm gonna go to the store and get new ones. I'll have to take the wife's car. I'll see you when I get back. Okay, back from the store. Got the brake pads, $60 later. And then also, while I was there, I went ahead and got that. New pins. So I'm going to go ahead and take that apart, put the brand new pins in, and then I'll put the new pads in. Alright folks, new pins are in, new pads are in, lots of meat on those pads. Looks like I got a little smudge or something there. I'm gonna go run down the basement. I believe I had some brake cleaner. I'll spray that down before I do anything else. Also, I'll throw some grease on the back side of these pads to prevent squeaking. My Scotty brakes that won't squeak were the wrong size, probably for the back. I guarantee you that's what they are. They're for the back, not the front. Okay. Oh wow, that says outer. I just noticed that. So it says inner, and that says inner. So I'm gonna have to take this one out, put the inner in. Didn't notice that before. Thank God I saw that. All right, now I got the outer on the outer and the inner on the inner. That's that. Next thing is to take an old brake pad, put it on the inside of this, and then use that C-clamp to make sure that this is compressed all the way back, because it usually doesn't fit on unless you do that. So I'm going to do that next. Okay, so got the C-clamp on the old brake pad in there. And you can see how much that cylinder is sticking out. Right there. Oh, God, I can't see nothing. So I'm going to give this a couple turns. Yeah. And it's pushing it back. It's doing its job. Now you can see it's pushed all the way back. All right, take that off. All right, gotta put the camera down, guys. Okay, so now that the cylinder is compressed all the way, it fits around the new brake pads. So next up is to take these bolts that we took out, 2 of them. They'll go screw into here and screw into that where that boot is. And we're gonna throw some anti-seize thread stuff on there, get those in, and then it's just getting the wheel on and letting the manual jack down. All right, now comes my favorite part. When Daryl put this socket on, what did he do with the other one? Always a fun game, folks. Always a fun game. Okay, guys, that's it for this video. you always want to do both sides when you're doing a brake job. You don't have to do front and back, but you should do both fronts and both backs. So I'm going to do the other side, but not tonight. I'm going to probably do it tomorrow or the next day if the weather's bad after work. So all in all, it went pretty well. I just a little pissed off that those brake pads that Scotty recommended, I really wanted to try those out, and they sent me the wrong ones. Never fails. Something always happens. Like I said, I don't recommend using the anti-seize thread stuff on your lug nuts. Some people say it's okay, other people say it don't. I've never had any issues breaking lug nuts loose. I mean, sometimes they can be a pain in the ass, but you know. Anyhow, so yeah, go run this thing around the block real quick and see how it goes. Other than that, yeah, I got a mess to clean, and don't forget to take the chalk out of the wheel. We'll see you guys next time. Have fun. One thing I forgot to say, whenever you do a brake job, that's next on the cleaning agenda, is don't forget, when you start up your car, always pump your brakes a couple times before you back it out or put it in gear or whatever. Shut up, radio. To get the fluid back down to the brake. Alright, that's all. God bless people.